The question is, how can I identify with everything? I sometimes say that instead of identifying with the person, you should identify with everything. But the question, how can I identify with everything, has some problems. So let's first start with everything. I quite often say everything or nothing. That might sound a bit strange, but what I really mean, or what you should read from nothing, is not nothing, but no-thing. Because the whole of reality doesn't contain things. It is just only that whole of reality. A thing is just a construct in the mind. We arbitrarily put borders around things because otherwise we wouldn't be able to communicate with each other about them. So that is certainly not wrong. It's of enormous practical use. But it becomes a bit strange when we start to believe for real that things are real. So we see a tree. Yeah, it's just our mind putting a little border around that thing. The tree in itself cannot be separated from this whole universe at all. It wouldn't be able to exist. It's the same with people, it's the same with everything. All these borders are just constructs in the mind. So what I'm trying to say is not to identify with everything, because somehow that still is dual. It kind of gives the idea that you, as a person, separate from all the rest that is around you, should identify with everything. No, what you should realize is that you, as a person, are just a construct of the mind. That you are no thing. You are part of that whole reality. So the second problem with the question is who is asking the question? Who is the I in the question? The I in how can I identify with everything? Well, if the I is the limited, separate person, there is really nothing you can do, because you are not identified with anything at all. You do not exist, because you are no thing. You and everything you do is a cosmic event. So asking this question of yourself, believing yourself to be a limited and separate entity, is like trying to bite your own teeth, pointing to your own finger, stuff like that. It's just not going to happen. It's like, a good metaphor is a dream, where I am sleeping in my bed and I dream to be John walking in the streets of Stockholm. If John suddenly asks himself the question, how can I identify with everything? Then what can John do? The whole question, everything around him, including himself, is all part of my dream. He is not asking himself the question. It is me dreaming him having the question. His perceptions, by the way, of the dream, all that he feels, smells, sees, they are real. What he sees isn't real, but the perception of it, the consciousness of it, is real, and that is the same consciousness as the one dreaming. So that metaphor is interesting, because if the perspective of the question, the I in how can I identify with everything, is universal consciousness, then the story is completely different. Because universal consciousness is already everything. So the question asked is for something that you already are. The thing is that consciousness has superimposed upon itself an identification, a limitation with the body-mind. And the only thing it needs to do is let go of that, is to wake up in itself, to itself. So when these type of questions start to arise and you become really mindful of them, then that is the invitation for self-enquiry. This invitation, if you are mindful of it and you follow it, you should follow that out of pure interest. Interest in finding truth. And this interest will ignite the self-enquiry. It cannot be a wish for you to become a better person. That will never work. That is trying to bite your own teeth. This rising interest in consciousness slowly will wake up consciousness from itself, in itself. And it is truly a miracle, because this will result over time, not in believing something new or exchanging one belief system with another belief system, but really experientially seeing, understanding, and knowing that what you always were was no thing.